Guests at Adventureland Inn were pulled out of their rooms and told to wait out here in the grass as police searched the inn and the Spectators Bar and Grill for a man with a gun. Not only were people throwing punches, they were throwing rocks, breaking things. You can see behind me, we're looking at the Court Avenue Restaurant and Brewing Company. They had a rock smash into their window. Just take a look at the massive pile of tree limbs behind me. This has more than doubled in size since just this morning. That's because all residents are encouraged to bring all of their debris to this spot right here at City Hall as they continue to work together to clear up the rest of the town. An adult and 2 children are dead right next door. You can see police are still on the scene, and the crime scene investigation van is parked right in front of the residence. And the sun has set, and more people are coming into this polling location. You can see behind me, folks are already voting in this giant ballroom. Yes, as you can see, this looks like a truck stop, but we are in the Prairie Meadows Casino parking lot. Yeah, I have so many layers on. It took me like 20 minutes to get dressed this morning. Staying active, getting moving, getting that blood flowing, that is a good way to prevent blood clots. That's why I'm climbing stairs this morning. And we're at 63rd and Grand, the dividing line between the Des Moines Public School District and the West Des Moines Public School District. So students on this side of the line can play sports this year. Students on this side cannot. When you wake up and you go outside and it's already 80 degrees, it makes you a little nervous for the day, but there is a beautiful breeze. And hey, as Iowans, we got to take all the nice weather we can get. We haven't seen something like this in a while, Sonia. People out on the patio enjoying a meal. Good morning. We're waking up with a cup of coffee. Essential in my book, but also essential to some of these riders who are going on the longest stretch of RAGBRAI all the way to Centerville. There are only about 100 albino alligators in the world, and you can see one right here at the State Fair. I mean, look where we're standing. This is the very front of the obstacle course. You've got the audience over here, the course over here, and some competitors that I talked to who have come back year after year say this is one of the toughest courses they have ever seen. Some of the best athletes in the world are going to be here. Canada has already set up shop right there at the bleachers. We're ready to go. I talked to Kenneth Quinn, who served as the U.S. ambassador to Cambodia. He's witnessed much unrest in that position, but he says it was nothing compared to what happened today.
I'm unbelievably saddened. I don't think many people would ever imagine there'd be something like this.
But former U.S. Ambassador to Cambodia, Kenneth Quinn, was not surprised by the protests at the U.S. Capitol.
I predicted that what would happen was that there would be violence that would be aimed at stopping and would succeed in stopping the count of the presidential election result by the House and the Senate.
As a member of Henry Kissinger's National Security Council in 1975, and after serving as the U.S. ambassador to Cambodia between 1996 and 1999, Quinn has studied, reported, and ran security for many mass protests.
The question often came down to, do the authorities shoot the demonstrators or not? Now, in most of those situations, it was the authoritarians who shot the protesters who were struggling for democracy. Here, the situation, I guess, depends on how you view the election, but there was a democratic constitutional process going on that was assaulted and stopped.
While watching the protests on TV, Quinn says the U.S. Capitol was not sufficiently protected, referring back to the late 1970s when he worked for Governor Ray.
Each year, when we had our World Food Prize events in the state capitol, there would be protesters. And what was clear at the state capitol was that there was a very clear chain of command. There was a state police officer who was very well organized, very effective, and he had sole responsibility. And he decided who could go where, what they could do, where protesters would be.
As the nation watches the situation unfold in D.C., Quinn hopes it brings people together across party lines.
In a desire to say what's most important above all is our constitutional processes, our democratic processes, because after all, that's what has made our democracy so unique.
In Des Moines, Maria Lisignoli, WHO 13 News.
Now, from what he's seen on TV today, Quinn believes the Capitol security could have been better prepared for the protests today.
For the Meyer family, the last 3 years have been a roller coaster.
Mama.
JMD.
In 2018, their 1-year-old son James was diagnosed with bilateral Wilms tumor, cancer in both of his kidneys.
In the span of 3 days, we went from having fun at the splash pad and having a normal summer to being hospitalized for childhood cancer.
In 2019, the Meyers had much happier news to report. Sweet baby James was cancer-free.
And he just is enjoying being a normal 2-year-old.
And now, at 3 years old,
I'm cancer-free. You know, he is now... Do you want to start over? Yes, we're going to start over.
sometimes starting over can be a good thing.
James, we don't pick your nose, kid.
But not when it comes to medical insurance in January.
My family was very much impacted in January because do you know what happens in January? Your deductible and your out-of-pocket max resets.
That's where Pinky Swear comes in. The foundation helps families of children with cancer with non-medical expenses.
Rent, gas, groceries. Pinky Swear paid for our mortgage in January of 2019 because we went back to zero and those medical bills just started piling up again.
Pinky Swear has a goal of raising more than $225,000 at their 6th annual Radiothon, which is usually held at the Valley West Mall.
This year, due to COVID-19, we had to go back to the WHO radio studios.
In 2019, 70 families received financial assistance from Pinky Swear. Meyer says this year, because of COVID-19, even more families are in need of help.
Some families have had to make the gut-wrenching decision, am I going to go to my job where I could be exposed to COVID, or am I going to stay at home with my child who is immunocompromised?
This year, the foundation is asking folks to donate online.
Why should people help little kids with cancer, like when you had cancer? Because it's good. Because it's good.
In Des Moines, Maria Lisignoli, WHO 13 News.
We love Broadway. We've grown up with Broadway, and my mom loved it. She gave that love to me, and then I gave it to Bailey. So I'll read a book, or maybe 2 or 3.
15-year-old Bailey Dorr loves Broadway so much.
Nobody on the Savannah understands.
She's been putting on daily virtual performances with homemade props.
We got a bunch of little stuffed animals out, and I made myself some binoculars.
Out of toilet paper rolls, by the way.
And costumes.
We didn't have a witch's hat, so my mom got her big floppy beach hat, and we got a funnel. We kind of taped that on there.
And we then put
a garbage bag on it and taped it around, and it worked.
Working hard to break up the monotony.
This quarantine was getting to me a little bit too, so to help people, that really makes me happy.
Especially because Bailey was supposed to be going to a Broadway boot camp hosted by her idol, Kristen Chenoweth. Someone she was able to actually sing with 3 years ago.
Take it away, baby girl. It's yours.
It well may be that we may never meet again.
But the Broadway boot camp was canceled due to COVID-19.
I was really upset, but I understand that it was for the safety of all of us and all of them.
So for now, Bailey and her mom hope to brighten people's day with these virtual performances.
this is just intermission, and we'll be back together soon. And so, if Bailey can be a little bit of sunshine and intermission until we're all back together for the second act, it's just such a happy place to be.
In Carlisle, Maria Lisignoli, WHO 13 News.